Hello guys, how's everyone doing? Well, on today's episode of what traders and trading mentors don't talk about often, today I'm going to be pointing out something, and on today's topic we're going to be talking about partials. Partials is something that I feel like, most of the times we don't really integrate into our strategies and we take it for granted because let's say for example, you're aiming for a 1 to 5 risk to reward and your trade is already flowing into profit. Let's say the trade has already flowed into a 1 to 2, 1 to 3 risk to reward. Simply because you're aiming for a 1 to 5 risk to reward, you choose to hold that trade. And many of the times we have to understand that when it comes to trading, everything is probability because you're not really sure if this trade is going to hit your TP. So most of the times trying to prove a point that, oh, I hold this trade to 1 to 5 risk to reward is the reason why trade will flow back and then stop us out on break even. You understand that kind of thing? So I feel like taking partials when it comes to trading is something that we take for granted and we really need to integrate into our strategies. No matter what your strategy is, whatever analysis you feel like you make, you made it, you understand. You analyze the charts and everything. Then you enter a trade. Then you see this trade flowing. Let's say you're aiming for 1 to 5 risk to reward. You see this trade flowing now. And this trade has already flowed to 1 to 3, 1 to 2, 1 to 3 risk to reward. And you choose to hold that trade because you want to prove a point. Because you want to show them that your strategy is tight. Most of the times, what I will always tell traders whenever they come into my Telegram group and ask me questions is that whenever you enter a trade, that trade is not guaranteed because when it comes to trading, everything is under probability. A trade could flow to, let's say you're aiming for a 1 to 3 risk to reward. A trade could flow to 1 to 2 risk to reward and come back and stop you out at break even. You understand? I always tell my traders, especially people in my Telegram group, that you have to take partials. If you're aiming for a 1 to 3 risk to reward and you see 1 to 2 risk to reward, take partials. If you're aiming for a 1 to 5 risk to reward and you see a 1 to 3 risk to reward, take partials because many of the times that trade could flow back and stop you out on break even, or better still, come back and hit your stop loss, the worst. That's the moment you'll be like, oh, I wish I knew I would have taken the profit I've already seen before, the profit that was free, I would have taken it and left the trade. So many of the times after you enter a trade and you've set your break even, the next thing you need to do is once that trade moves to at least half of your target, take partials. Partials is something that we take for granted when it comes to trading, and I really want to put this thing out there for newbies and people that are been in the industry for at least 6 months to a year or probably 2 years that are still struggling to be profitable. If you are trading prop firms, trust me, especially when it comes to prop firm, trust me, don't play with partials. Because at the end of the time, these prop firm and brokers, they manipulate a lot of shit behind the back end. So these partials will save you. You add something on top your already existing balance. Then you've already taken partials. Maybe the next time you want to enter trade now, you can reach that money you just took from your last trade to reach the next position that you want to enter. But letting the trade to come back and stop you at a break even, that's something that I feel like, it really doesn't make sense, and people really need to integrate partials into their trading. So I want you to like, share, and send this video to newbies, people you know that are learning trading, people that have been in trading for 6 months, a year, or 2 years that are struggling, and let them learn because partials is really, really important when it comes to trading because you need to secure something. So make sure that you try and reason this, okay? Take care.